Hello traders, this is Mac Billion. Today is January 6, 2016, and let's talk about the market. Let's start with the S&P mini futures. Right now is 10 p.m. Eastern time, and you can see here in the S&P it's already down 1%. It's almost touching this line right here, which is the major support that I see. It break down this short-term support that I was talk about, and now is heading to this long-term support. Now I want to call your attention on the DMI, which is my main indicator, and I wanted to show you that is almost on divergence, meaning the minus directional is at the top and the plus directional is almost at the bottom. Meaning, if price goes to this level, exactly to this support, it's a high probability that it's gonna bounce. Now, the two scenarios is a bounce or a small bounce and a breakdown, a huge breakdown. So those are the two scenarios. So how do you trade this? The way you can trade this is if it goes to this line, you can get long and use this same support line as your stop loss. Meaning, if it goes here, bounce, and start going up, but you see that is it want to retest that line, you got to be careful right there. If it break down, you have to get out because then it's gonna be a huge breakdown. So about saying this, I answering the questions to some subscribers that asked me if the market was broken. No, the market is not broken. It broke this short-term support, but the major support that I see on the S&P is this support right here, which is around 1940 right here. So my thinking is if we're gonna bounce from here based on DMI and based on the volume, a huge volume just when it's only 10 p.m. Eastern time. So let's see what happens. Maybe it's gonna test here overnight and it's gonna open with a huge bounce right here. So let's see what happens. Let's talk about Apple. Apple also break down right here, but it needs confirmation. If it confirms tomorrow about belows, about today's low, then this thing is gonna go for sure to 94. We have some calls on Apple, but it's very close to earnings report, so I just gonna leave them because I think this is gonna bounce any minute, any time. Probably next week is gonna bounce and it's gonna test this resistance before earnings support around 115. So keep an eye on that one. Now let's talk about oil. So I'll talk about APA, which is Apache Corporation. It's an oil company, and I want to call your attention in a double bottom. Fibonacci 3678. Right here, back in September, it tested the support, Fibonacci support, and it bounced from 36 to 56, 20 points. So it's almost getting there. I probably tomorrow is gonna get there, and it's high probability that it's gonna bounce. And you can use the same 36.78 as your stop loss. So there you have a nice setup for tomorrow to go long. Now, if you break down 36.78, the opposite, go short. Now let's talk about another one. Let's talk about BABA. BABA, as you can see here, it tested 78, 58, 55 Fibonacci resistance and it fell. It fell yesterday, it went there, it held, but today it went there and it didn't like it. The bulls didn't like it and it's still right here. It's not broken yet. If it break down below this line, which is 75, then I will say this thing is broken. The earnings report also coming, so we can bounce easily from here. So it's a high probability that we bounce. I will say 65% and 35% that we're gonna break down and test the 70 Fibonacci support. Now let's talk about Amazon. Amazon break down the Fibonacci 636, and today it tried to take out the level, but it couldn't. So that's the level I'm gonna be watching, the 636.56. Now the DMI looks bearish, but the trend, this huge trend, is bullish. You can even have a trend line right here, and you can see that is close to support. Let me put the line so you can have it. From right here to right here. So if it goes right here to 607, I will be a buyer right there. 607. So now let's talk about another one. Let's talk about Caterpillar. Caterpillar Fibonacci support is 64, and it looks like it wants to test that level again. So there is a lot of consolidation here. So if it goes to 64, I'm gonna buy and I'm gonna go long in Caterpillar. This one is gonna report in January 28. So it's a high probability that we're gonna have a little run before the earnings, before this thing have been down huge. So we might have a nice bounce from here. So let's see. And you can use the 64 support as your stop loss. Facebook right here make another high, but he also made a lower low. So now we have a inside candle right here, which I said the top is 103.70 and the bottom is gonna be 100. So if you break down below 100, we have this support right here around 100, around 99.50. So I think we're gonna bounce from here because it's very strong. You can see this, the volume was 25 millions today. He usually trade between 22 and 26 millions. So it's a good volume, and I think we gonna, as soon as we break out the 5 simple moving average, this thing is gonna go to 108 again. So it's just depend on the market. So let's see what the market does. Let's talk about GLD, gold. So gold right here, break out the 50 simple moving average. So it needs confirmation tomorrow. It's a nice breakout with huge volume, 9 millions today, and usually trade between 5 to 7 millions. So it's a really good volume, and if it confirms tomorrow about today's high, which is 104.80, this thing can go easily to 110, easily. So keep an eye on GLD. Is bullish. It's bullish right here. Now let's talk about Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs right here also getting to support. So you can see many of the stock that I'm mentioning is getting close to major support. So there you have an opportunity to go long, but you have to be disciplined and using the same support as your stop loss. So I wanted to be clear with this because many people, will go long in here, and if it doesn't work, say, oh, you say to go long. No, I'm saying to go long, but also I'm telling you a stop loss. So you got to be careful with that and be very disciplined following your plan. Now let's talk about Netflix. Netflix, look at this candle, beautiful candle. We went long in this one 2 days ago, Monday, and today we cash out when he went to the top of this gap. He closed the gap, so I closed the position for 50% profits. I wasn't expecting this to break out because the market was going down. So I cash out. It was a good trade, 50% profits, and that's it. So now you can see here it's still bullish, and I say the earnings reports are coming. It's gonna be January 19. So he tests the 20, he tests the 50, but right here I'm thinking that because the market is gonna go down, it's gonna test the 114 level, which is now support. He break out the 114. So if we break down the 114 again, this thing is gonna go again to 110. So be careful with that. Netflix is a very weird creature, so you gotta be careful and trade small when you trade in Netflix because it can take you money very easily, but it can also make you a lot of money. But just trades very small. Now let's talk about the last one, Tesla. Tesla, as you can see, is inside this short-term uptrend channel. You can see here, very nice channel. It's at the bottom. We still have support at 210, but I think here it can bounce easily. Now, I would like to buy more at 210 than buying here, based on the market. So let's see what happens. You have a nice setup right here, but if it goes to 210, it can go back up even for day trade. You test 210, you can get long here with weeklies, and it can go back up to 220. So I'm gonna be watching this one tomorrow to see if I can do intraday here because I think it's a nice support level 210. Okay, traders, trade small, but trade on. This is everything for today.